Welcome to another Fox 411 today. No stranger here to the video and or the audio that you're listening to right now on our website. We appreciate that very much. It is Edie Blanchard here from the McNider Arts Museum. And of course, it's June, and that means the Art Festival.
Yes, it's art festival time.
It is. Hard to believe that snuck up on us, huh?
Yes, hopefully everybody's favorite time of year, right? Where they get to experience free art. So,
Well, I think it's awesome because you draw quite the crowd from not only around here, but all over the state, which is great. And even out of state. I
yeah,
noticed your vendors have always populated the grounds pretty well there. And of course, you have music going on. This is a one-day event. It's June 14th.
yep,
And it's happening at the McNider Art Museum right there
yep,
on the grounds outside.
yep. And it's entirely free this year. So we start the day off with free pancakes that will be served by the mayor and city council. And that starts at 9 a.m. And we serve those till about 10:30 or so until we run out of pancake batter. So they try to keep up their very best, but you know, you may have to wait in a little bit of a line, but I think it's worth it for free pancakes.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Well, Edie, you've been there for many, many years, and we're looking forward to this one as well. I know that you probably say to yourself, "Gosh, how are we going to outdo last year's?" But
I know.
I don't think that's really the point. It's the point of just everybody getting together and socializing and checking out everything. Like I said, the vendors are a huge part of this.
Yeah, and this year I'd like to mention that we're expanding the vendors because hospice, who used to be across the street from us, we could never close the street because of that, because obviously they needed access.
Sure.
So now that hospice has moved, but we have actually taken that street area and we've been able to expand our vendors. So we used to have about 24, and this year we'll have about 31 vendors. So that's quite a few more. They're all set and ready to go. We just confirmed with all of them yesterday. So, yep, everybody's ready to go. Nobody's backed out. So that's always good.
They start coming in just for just to let everyone know as far as traffic is concerned. They'll start coming in probably Friday night to start setting up.
Yeah, they start in Friday night. We'll actually have the road blocked off Friday morning, and there'll be no parking signs starting on Thursday in that area. So you won't be able to access that area by the Methodist Church and the former hospice location. You still have access to, though, the footbridge area. They'll keep that open, and then by the library, they keep that open too.
Do you have a theme this year?
Art for everyone. So this year, we're really trying to expand who comes to Art Festival. We've really tried to reach out to a lot of different groups that normally don't come to Art Festival, whether it's due to economic reasons or distance or travel issues, or just not knowing that we're here. We went and spoke to, the Micronesian community and Latino community. We've talked to, just all the different groups here in town. We're just really trying to get everybody to come to festival. And in years past, we might have charged, $1 or $2 to cover the cost of our art supplies. But this year we had gotten a grant from Iowa Art Council, and that is to provide an entirely free experience. So it's all free with all the art activities. And we even have 300 art kits to send home with families.
That's very good. Well, it is free, so I encourage everybody to buy something from the vendors.
Yes.
Or give donations. You guys have
donations. Yes, we always accept donations, and any donation that we get on that day goes to, we have a school bus fund that pays school bus mileage and gas to bring kids to the museum. And then we also have scholarships so for kids, so they don't have to pay if they can't to take classes. And so that's kind of what the scholarships go to. And you're right about supporting our local vendors. I always support, all the businesses in town, but really buying from the artists themselves. You can't get, more unique and unusual than that. And that money really stays in North Iowa. I would say the overwhelming majority of the artists come within about 90 to 120 miles. And so they're all people that live in southern Minnesota or Iowa, and they will put that money back in our economy.
I don't even know. How many art festivals are there? Is there quite a
There
bit?
is more than you would expect in
Oh, cool.
Iowa.
Okay.
Iowa City has one, Cedar Falls has one, Ames has one, Des Moines has a very big one, Clear Lake has one. Uh,
Wow. All right.
Waverly has one, and those are the ones that I know.
And I'm
So
sure you all look at each other like, okay, ours is
yes,
this
we
week. Yeah.
we try to not
Mhm.
be at the same time
Sure.
because there's only so many artists, and you want to be able to attract the artists, and also people will go to that and then they'll go later to another one. So
Give us a
yeah.
few highlights of the vendors coming then, your artist vendors and stuff.
So and I'm just going to talk a general about some of the types, because we have artists that are coming that are brand new. They have never shown before. This is their first show. And so we always like to support that. We always like to say we're a good starter show for people who are just getting started doing this. They may have another job. And then we have some people like Bill Mateer and Peggy Kordick, who are very long time, ceramic artists in our community. A lot of people know that we have ceramics, but we also have artists that do photography, they do jewelry, they do sculpture art, and like landscape art and yard art, all different types of artists. And we have a section of our Facebook page that, talks a little bit more about the different kinds of artists that we have coming. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing about it is that there's all different price ranges, and there's also all different types of art. There's art that's really cutting edge, and there's art that's very accessible for people that isn't kind of out there art.
Mhm. How about the kids' activities? If we want to take grandkids or the kids,
Yeah, and
yeah.
yes, definitely come. So we're prepared for a huge crowd this year. I'm going to just show a few of the things they can make, like a wind chaser
Oh,
here.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fun. They are going to make, these are, I don't know if you can see them, they're like picture hangers,
Okay.
and they make them using like foam and beads and such. There's different ways that they can make them,
Very
and
cool.
those are really fun.
Where do you get a lot of your ideas, Edie? I mean,
We
for
brainstorm them. And I
okay.
know this sounds interesting and unbelievable, but we beta test them
Oh,
because it's something that needs to be done by kids ages 2 years old to 10, or to probably 10 or 12 years old.
right.
And so they need to be able to do it for little kids, but also they need to be able to be done outside. It might be windy.
Yeah.
We don't want painting stuff necessarily because that'll like get everybody's clothes dirty. We don't have access to glue guns out there very easily. So, all these things we have to think of. And so then we always test things to make sure they really work, because sometimes, it's kind of like the first time you make a recipe, it could go wrong, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of what we do.
Okay.
Got some little butterflies.
Yeah.
This is a sculptural piece that they can make
Hmm.
using different pipe cleaners and different curly cues. We also have, these are little clay things that they will make using air dry clay, and then they dye it with colored markers. So they'll dye it themselves, and then they knead it into there, and then they make shapes into cookie cutters.
Sure.
And this is, yeah.
Can the kids make more than one thing?
We usually have enough, yes, so they can make one of each thing. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
sure. Yeah.
So they can make, one of these and one of these. They
Oh,
can't
gosh.
make like three of these, but they can make, we have enough for, I think it's like 400 kids to each make one. And for the take home, we have 300 for each kid.
Wow.
Here they get to make a stained glass kite using tissue paper. And then last but not least, to show kind of like community involvement for everybody, kids of all ages, we're going to make a public art display.
Okay.
And so these will be strung together like this after people like you make them. And
Okay.
then they will be hung, and they'll hang in a window, kind of like stained glass, if you will.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so what this is cardboard and wrapped with string, so it leaves a knobby feeling on it, and then you color it with Sharpies
Sure.
to make it be really bright, and then we'll string these together. So everybody of all ages, we want to do this.
Do
So
the adults, the parents, grandparents, do they get to help with this stuff, or is it just now? I'm sure
Um,
they want.
most of the activities kids should be able to do on their own. We really try to make it so mom and dad don't have to. We always have some of those moms that kind of get in there and try to do it for the kids, but this is really their experience.
Sure.
In fact, one of our things that we do is when we make these examples, we don't make them absolutely perfect like an adult would because it's a kid's activity. We want them to feel like they can accomplish it. So we
Sure.
kind of make it with a few errors and such
Yeah.
on
No,
purpose.
that's awesome. Now, is this happening like all afternoon, all morning, or is it on certain times that you're doing all this?
So 9 to 5 is when the kids' activities are.
Oh, okay. So all day.
And the art market is 9 to 4, and that's because they need a little bit more time to pack up.
Sure.
And then we serve pancakes, as I mentioned, starting at 9.
Right.
Or we might even start serving a little bit before that, should we be able to be ready at that time. And then we have several bands throughout the day that I'd like to mention.
Yep. Let's talk about music. Yep.
Yeah, so the first is the Mason City Municipal Band, which is, all of our friends in the community. I have an old neighbor that's in there. You get together and you see the municipal band, and it's really nice. It's during our pancake time. So from 9 to 10 is when they play.
Mhm.
Then we have a New Orleans jazz band, and that's going to be from 10:30 to 12:30. It's the NOLA Jazz Band.
Okay.
And so they're a group of guys and they play, big easy style music. They're always generally very popular. Then from 1 to 3, we have a band called Mac and Cheese. And they're really like a good vibe. They're kind of chill, hangout music. They'll probably play a lot of covers of things that you know and love. And then to wrap up the day, we have Carol Montag, and she's a solo artist. And so she will end the day for us.
Sure. All right. Wow. Lots of stuff going on, as always.
Yes.
And I guess the only thing we really haven't talked about is what happens for weather. I mean, do you guys delay things?
Yeah. So we are a rain or shine event, and that is because it is just too difficult to try to do it at another day.
Right.
If it is raining, all the artists are prepared for that. And as an art market artist myself at other art shows that I go to, I've sold out in shows where it's rainy. So the artists are prepared for that.
Okay.
So the kids' crafts will be moved inside if it's raining, and then we always serve the pancakes inside if it's raining.
Sure.
I mean, it shows on the forecast that it's going to rain, but I mean, first of all, it's Iowa.
Well, at the time of this recording,
Yes.
You never know. It can change.
Yeah, you never know, but I always point out in Iowa, sometimes the weather apps say it's raining and it's sunny outside, and sometimes it says it's sunny and it's raining. You never know. It's Iowa. So I always recommend that people just, if even if it's raining, you can come on down and we have stuff inside the building no matter what.
If anybody has any questions, McNiderArt.org probably will tell you a lot, because I'm sure you're featuring a lot right there on the website as well. Facebook page as well. Check that out.
Yeah.
Other than that, just come.
Yeah, just come down. We're always looking for volunteers, even if it's just a day before and you're like, hey, something happened. I had something cancel. We need tons of volunteers to run this. People don't realize that we utilize probably about 200 volunteers the day of to make festival happen. And we have a lot of groups, such as the Mason City Dance Team will come as a large group. I know Mason City Noon Rotary, they have taken over one whole table and are providing people for that the whole day. There's, a lot of different groups coming and doing that. So, and especially if there are service clubs that are always looking for this is another great way for them to give back to the community as well, to adopt a table for a day.
You have a lot of activities throughout the year, but this is really the big one, right?
Yes, it is.
Really can shine. Yeah.
This is our flagship that most people know us for. It's interesting. Yesterday, there were some kids playing on the lawn in our blue blocks. And the mother said, I had told the mother, make sure you come back for Arts Festival. And she said, we always do. In fact, when I brought the kids, they were astonished. They didn't know that you guys were still open and everything other than Arts Festival.
Oh,
And they were just little kids. And so they didn't know that. And so sometimes I think that the public doesn't know that we're here year round and they can always come. We're always free.
right. People can find out too. Getting back to the kids just for a second, there's programs that people can get signed up for the summer. You don't want
Yes.
bored kids, so
No.
you
So
know.
we have lots of fun stuff all summer long. Kids classes. We have a kids club, and I know that we'll be at the North Iowa Fair. We have lots of stuff going on as we go into the fall. We have a fall puppet show. We have spring puppet show. And we'll have more classes in the fall if that works better for people's schedule for both adults and kids. So there's so many opportunities here, just so many. And the blue blocks are outside any day it's sunny, pretty much. If it's raining, obviously we're not going to have them out. But and families are more than welcome to come and play with that. They can play with the puppets in the puppet gallery that we have there. There's like a little puppet studio. Lots of fun things.
You touched upon the volunteers. What can they do if somebody's listening or watching right now and they want to help? How do they do that? Just get a hold of you there at the museum?
Yes. So just call us at the museum, and our receptionist handles all the volunteers. So if you call, you speak with her, she can find something for you to do. We have everything from processing mailings to scanning in documents to volunteering for kids classes, to act as kind of an assistant, because we don't have, extra people here in the classes. It's always nice to have that. We have people who are kind of arty and they help prepare things for classes. Sometimes we'll have things cut out ahead of time. And so, yeah, volunteers, we couldn't function without volunteers. It's how we run.
Have you ever had visitors from out of the country?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And I would say in the summertime, you would be astonished that, I would say for the gallery portion, at least half are not from Mason City, and at least 10% or more are from other countries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other parts of the world. I think that's
Yeah.
so cool.
And a lot of it is the hotel, but even before that, and the hotel did bring a whole new crowd here. I do agree with that. But people don't realize, I think because we live in our community, we have an art museum that rivals the Walker in Minneapolis. And I know people are like, really? Yes, we have that quality of art here. We have Dale Chihuly, we have Grandma Moses, Mary Cassatt, Andy Warhol, Thomas Hart Benton, Grant Wood. I mean, we have one of probably the best well-rounded art collections in the Midwest.
That's awesome. You hear so much about technology today, and how does that affect the museum and the arts in general? Just like AI, all that stuff.
Yeah. So we haven't really broached into AI, but we definitely use technology to our advantage.
Sure.
An example would be when we're teaching an adult class, when I'm teaching watercolor, I will use something called an Elmo. And I think some of the school systems use it, but it acts like a more modern overhead projector. And so everybody can see how my hands are working up on the screen. And so I can teach a class of, 20 people how to do watercolor fairly easily. Another way is that we have a 3D printer that was given to us by a grant from Team Quest, and when their foundation was still around. And so we can do 3D printing for not only creating art, but a lot of people don't realize you can use 3D printing to create tools to make art, like tools to sculpt pottery and things like that. I think it's always important to realize that, there's different ways that we can use that. In our galleries, we have a lot of QR codes that will then loop back for people to go to different websites that tell them more about an artist, show them other examples. I can't tell you how many times I've told people on a tour, this is Grant Wood. He's very famous because of the painting American Gothic, and they will have no idea who that is. And I pull it up on my phone and I show them, and everybody instantly knows what American Gothic is. It's the farmer and his wife, or that's the stereotypical. It's actually not, but Iowa couple with the pitchfork outside the farmhouse, and now then they know. But oftentimes we can give that additional information, and so we use technology a great deal.
I think that's great because it's common sense technology. You're still making things by
Yeah.
hand, and that's what's important because you
Yeah.
can,
I think the controversy gets into when you say, to the computer, draw me a picture with
yeah,
these elements in it. And as far as that goes, we simply, we're a public entity. We don't have the budget for that exactly, right? So,
right.
but I do know a lot of our artists that enter the photo show, they have digitally altered pictures, and that's okay because we kind of like allow that as a digital
Sure.
category.
That's great. Well, we're all looking forward to it. McNider Art Festival. It's happening here June 14th. It's from 9 until 5. Is that what
Yes,
you said?
9
9?
to 5.
Okay. Well, come on out, and it's a free event. And but you can give back. I always say pay it forward, buy some things there from the vendor, and give donations to something that's been great here. I don't know how many people are volunteers versus paid employees down there, or how many, but it takes a lot to make this thing work.
Yeah,
And
people don't realize, I think we only have 6 full-time employees working here, and then we have 2 part-time employees. And I think we're the second smallest department in the city. And so we don't have a very big department, but we do a lot.
you bet. Edie, as always, a pleasure. And I hope you have a great crowd. I'm sure you will. I mean, this is a highlight for people
Yeah.
who come here and check out Mason City if they're not from this city, or if they're out of the country, like we talked about. A lot of people out of state obviously coming to visit. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that kind of center their vacations around coming here and
Yeah.
hitting the art
We
festival.
definitely are a destination for a lot of people.
That's good. Edie, as always, do a great job, and thank you so much. McNider Art, or McNiderArt.org, will tell you all about it. Facebook page as well, McNider Art Museum. And well, let's hope you have great weather.
I know, fingers crossed. You never know. It's Iowa.
No wind and no
No
rain
wind.
for that day.
It's Iowa. I mean, one time at the end of the day, we had a tornado warning because there was a tornado north of town and we had to shove everybody inside the basement. I mean, it's Iowa.
How many years have
That's
you done this now?
so I personally, this I believe is my 18th year here.
Okay. Okay.
July 1st will be 18 years, if you can believe it. So my daughter just graduated and we came when she was a baby.
Gee whiz, time flies, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, it flies.
exactly.
All right, Edie, thank you so much. Our Fox 411 here, McNider Art Festival happening June 14th. So come on down. We'd love to see you. Thanks, Edie.
Thank you.